Hi there, I'm Dr. J, the clinical director here at Cognitive Behavior Institute, and today we're going to talk a little bit about couple relationships and what works and things that don't work as well. So Gottman and his research at the Love Laboratory, they got really good at predicting divorce. In fact, they could watch a new couple come in that they'd never seen before, had never conducted an interview on or have information about, watch them interact for 15 minutes, and with 94% accuracy predict divorce. And some of these divorce predictors were just as you had mentioned, the four horsemen of the marital apocalypse. And you think about that language, that's really strong language, the apocalypse, suggesting that when these things really take root in the couple relationship, the end is near. If the couple doesn't intervene and find some support in doing something differently, probably will result in a divorce. Just briefly summarize each of these. You've got criticism. Really that involves attacking or blaming one's partner, usually speaking more globally about their character rather than complaining about a very specific issue. You've got defensiveness, and the basic idea here is that I'm not open to your ideas. I'm closed off. I'm somewhat shut down. My default mode is to sort of sprinkle every interaction and conversation with the no salt shaker rather than the yes. And then we got contempt. And we know from the literature, contempt it's the single greatest predictor of divorce. And what is contempt? How do we mean it? Contempt is really, at its core, a sense of superiority to one's partner. A sense that all the problems in our marriage really, it's really because of you. You're just like your mother, right? Way of thinking about contempt, and it can get expressed in pretty subtle ways too. It could be correcting your spouse's grammar, just as a way of subtly suggesting, I'm better than you, right? Or maybe even laughing in the face of pretty intense emotion. These are all small ways that suggest there's a hierarchy built into our relationship. You're here and I'm down here. We know it's very corrosive to couple relationships. And then finally, stonewalling, and that is just as it sounds. It's like I'm going to build a wall, we're going to build a Trump wall here, so high that I can't get hurt, that you can't access me. It's kind of a neat finding from the literature here too, is that there are really two predictors that someone's going to engage in stonewalling in a couple relationship. The first is that, one, you're a guy. So if you're a guy, you're already more at risk for doing this kind of thing. The second thing is they found these guys who are stonewalling. They had a heart rate over 100 beats per minute. And basically what that means is emotionally they're flooded, drowning in this conflict that feels bigger than them. They're getting enveloped in it, and it's just their way of coping and surviving. I got to shut the whole thing down. Fortunately, leaves their partner feeling very alone in this whole thing and feeling misunderstood. So those are the four horsemen. Every couple is going to engage in some of the horsemen. They found in literature there's actually this really important ratio that couples, when they're in conflict, if they could maintain this ratio of 5 to 1. And basically what that means is for every 5 positive interactions when they're having a conflict, a positive interaction could be eye contact or a statement that suggests I'm listening. It could be something small. There's only one horseman, so 5 positive to 1 negative. And they found that couples who were in trouble, that ratio either got inverted or even looked more like 1 to 1. Now there are some other divorce predictors and indicators as well, like failure of repair attempts. That is when somebody's trying to lighten the mood. Somebody's trying to suggest, hey, I miss you, can we repair? And that doesn't get accepted. That's a predictor as well. Also, this thing that's called harsh startup is very interesting. When someone brings up a conflict situation, all right, if they're going to introduce negative emotion into that conversation within the first 3 minutes, it's like a 96% chance the interaction is going to go very poorly. And so, if this is something that's happening in your relationship, it seems like every conflict we go from 1 to 10 right at the get-go, right from the get-go. That's something I think to get some support around. The other kind of divorce indicator too, and it's not as big and even sexy maybe as some of these other ones where we're fighting and there's criticism and defensiveness, is just gradually we separate our lives. There's this distance and isolation cascade where we stop talking to each other. We stop sharing life together. We just become like roommates or ships passing in the night. We don't really engage. We don't really share our lives with each other anymore. That's a real warning sign that the relationship's headed in a bad way. So those are some of the divorce predictors that I'm looking for when I'm assessing a couple.